If you want to make accurate bends in square tubing like this one and make different ones to match, this is the right video for you. So first of all, you must have a drawing or the square tubing that you want to make. For me, it's this portion, and this is the center of this circle, this portion of a circle. The first thing you have to do is figure out how much square tubing you need. To do that, you put this little thingy in the middle of your compass and you figure out this angle. For me, it's 75. So this is a better representation of this one right here. For me, it's focus, it's 75 from here to here, and the outer radius is 642 millimeters and the inner radius is 612. This is a very important part. My square tubing has a thickness of 30 millimeters. So you have this the outer thickness, and this is the inner thickness. After figuring out this one, you just subtract 30 millimeters and you end up with this one. This is very important to get an accurate bend. And to get this length to bend, you need this equation. So you use 2 pi times the radius times the angle divided by 360. And it gives me this number. This is the amount of tubing that I need to end up with this portion of a circle. It's this one. And they do the same equation for the inner radius. And they end up with this number. After that, you subtract the 2 to get this number. So basically, after bending this square tubing, the inner side or the inner portion needs to shrink. And we need to remove that shrinkage to allow it to bend comfortably. And we get this number. So basically, we have to remove this amount. This is the same as this. We need to remove this amount from our tube to end up with this. So to do that, we will cut little slots in the square tubing to allow it to bend. For me, my cutting disc has 1.5 thickness, and we do the math. We take this amount that we want to remove and we'll divide it by the thickness of our disc, and we end up with this number. This is the amount of cuts that you have to do in this tube to remove this amount. There we go. And you take this number, it's the outer diameter or the length of tubing that you need, and you divide it by this number plus 1. I made a little mistake here. It's supposed to be 841. Here I made a mistake. And you end up with this number. It should be 30.9. After you do the math, it turns out like this. So basically, every 30.9 millimeters you need to make a cut. So you measure 30.9 millimeters, you do your cut, you measure again, another cut, so on and so forth. And after that, I will show you one example that I did. As you can see here, this is the portion of square tubing, and this is the cuts. You end up with 26 cuts, and the distance between each one is 30 millimeters. And after doing your cuts and bending the metal, I added this little bar to help me bend it because it was a bit springy, and you end up with this portion of a circle which is the same as the drawing, so it's accurate and it fits perfectly. You just need to weld these points and that's it. So that's my bend that I wanted to make. This is the other bend that I made, and as you can see here, it fits perfectly. It's exactly the same as the drawings. So yeah, that's how you make accurate bends in square tubing.